Hi, Maria Mandarino here, and thank you for being here. I am going to be talking today about a few things coming up on the 17th, depending on when you're watching that, the 17th of February. I'm recording this on the 16th, the night before. So we're going to be talking about the ingress of Saturn and Neptune in Aries. We're going to talk about what that means, what I would like to propose that could mean. I know a lot of people are a little bit anxious about this transit, particularly because we have an eclipse that's coming into this as well on the 17th, and we have the Chinese New Year beginning. So we have the arrival of the Yang Fire Horse, which will talk about how that actually reflects some of what's going on in the Western astrology. We're going to talk about that before we jump into all of that, though. And it is a busy week. I'm actually going to be putting out two episodes this week talking about the astrology. But before we jump into the details, I would like to ask you to please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Remember to like, comment, and share. All of this really helps my work and my efforts here. I put in a lot of work to create the videos, but the only way they get to mean anything is through your efforts and what you do in terms of interacting here. And again, subscribing, commenting, liking, and sharing the episodes. So if you haven't done that already, please do so. If you have, thank you very much for participating. I really do appreciate that, because again, my effort will mean nothing without your efforts. So thank you if you've done that. Um, and I want to invite you to look at my new website. It's been redesigned, therootedmystic.com. You can check out my Enneagram course there. We're actually going to do a little talking about the Enneagram today. I have some little creative suggestions that we can use the Enneagram today with the astrology. So if you're interested in doing some independent study Enneagram work, I have a course on the website at therootedmystic.com. You can sign up for the course there. I also have a free webinar there on how to use the Enneagram to develop healthier boundaries. Since we're going to be talking, among other things today, about Saturn. Saturn has a lot to do with boundaries. So it's a good season to do that. And that's free. So check that out on the website, the boundaries webinar. And you can also sign up to meet with me for an inquiry call to see if you're interested in working with me and what I do, how I do it, how it can serve you with your goals right now. And I think that froze, did freeze. There we go. Sorry about that. I was talking about the inquiry call. You can sign up for an inquiry call at therootedmystic.com. See if you're interested in working with me, the way I work with people, what I do, the different things that I integrate between the Enneagram, astrology, and spiritual direction. So it's a half-hour meeting where we kind of talk about your needs. So if that's something you would like to do, you can sign up for that through the website. It is $25 to sign up for that meeting, and then that money gets applied to your first official full session with me. So it's an investment in going forward with whatever work we do. So remember to check all of that out. You can also just schedule with me through the website, Spiritual Direction, Enneagram, Astrology, if you want to just jump into work with me. All of that's on the website. So remember to check that out. Okay. So February 17th, again, I'm recording this on the 16th, the night before. If you're listening to this on the 17th, Tuesday, we have some pretty, I think, profound and exciting. A lot of people are approaching me feeling nervous about this transit, and I personally refuse to be made nervous. I don't like being made nervous about transits anyway, and I get that sometimes it's just hard not to be, but I also love to look for the opportunity. When we're looking at this through the Enneagram, most of you who have been watching me for a while know I'm an Enneagram 5. And you probably know my beliefs about how we can use the lines in the Enneagram. We say we use the line to the stress type when we're stressed or trying to avoid a situation, kind of in a negative state. And then we use our security line, or the line we want to use when we want to attain a goal, So that's kind of seen as more positive. So anyway, reason I mentioned this is I have a line to seven that I'm supposed to use when I'm stressed, but I also believe that we can use our stress line um, to support our development, our personal development. So I choose to look at my seven line as an opportunity, which if you are a seven or know about the seven's also called the opportunist. So I'm looking at this transit and thinking of my line to seven, and where's the opportunity in this? Where's the excitement in this? Where, dare I say, is the fun? That's a seven word, right? So again, I have as a five, I have access to that energy. So that's how I'm choosing to step into this tomorrow. So where's the opportunity? So we have Saturn. Among other things, we call Saturn the planet of reality. Saturn's also the planet of limitations. So if you are a seven, already you're probably feeling a little uncomfortable with a couple of those words that I've used, right? Because sevens don't like limits, they don't like boundaries, they don't like restriction. And these are all words that we associate with the energy of Saturn. So we have Saturn joining up with Neptune. And so we have the planet of reality and the planet of non-reality or dreams and illusions. And, sometimes we worry about Saturn creating confusion. Again, I'm going to try to use that seven energy in my Enneagram to say, let's look at the higher expression of the potential for this transit. So we have Saturn, the planet of reality, yes, but this planet that's also associated with structure. Structure determines function, right? Structure is not a bad word. I think structure is kind of an exciting word because it's a new opportunity, it's a new build out. So we have Saturn giving us the potential to build something new, to structure something new. What's the something new? It's what Neptune brings us, the dream. How are we going to structure the dream? So that's the really big question I want to leave you with in this episode. We're going to kind of flush it out a little bit. But so Neptune joining with Saturn, should say Saturn joining with Neptune. How are we going to structure the dream? How are we going to give this some kind of substance? Because that's what Saturn does. Gives us boundaries, substance, limitations. But how are we going to do it in a good way? How are we going to make this dream something that we can build upon, right? So where is this happening? It's happening in the house of Mars, the temple, the fire temple of Mars in Aries. And it's not where Saturn likes to be. So think of Saturn as a guest who's just gotten off the tarmac into the land. He's arrived in the land of Aries, um, which is owned and developed, let's say, by Mars, and they don't quite see eye to eye, right? Because Saturn is cold and Mars is hot and fiery, and Saturn likes to slow things down and discipline us, and Mars wants to go, go, go and be involved in action, right? He's the god of war. So it's not exactly where Saturn would choose to land his plane. Okay, but that's where he is. So I choose to see this as great potential. In the Temple of Mars, we have the energetic potential, the active energetic potential of Mars that's available to us as we talk about structuring the dream, right? Um, and of course, all of this will be played out against your chart and what house this is happening in your chart. So if you do know your chart, take a look at that and think of that. Where are you going to structure the dream that you can develop and enrich in whatever house Aries is in your chart? So there's a personal question for you. But we can also look at this at the societal level and just what's happening in the world, in your immediate world, within your community, perhaps, and the greater world. So, just another way to look at that. Look at how we're going to structure the dream. What is the dream? Okay. Um, so again, we have this happening in Aries in this active house. It's not where Saturn would like to be. It is active. It is hot. It is powerful. It is filled with active potential. Okay. We think of Mars as being aggressive. I would say, let's think assertive for this particular transit. How can we assertively structure the dream? How can we how can we ride that wave of Mars assertion in a healthy way? So we have all of that happening, and we also have the solar eclipse in Aquarius happening at the same time. So Aquarius being the sign of the people, the sign of the collective, opposite that I apologize in advance if I am having technical issues on this episode, and I just hope that my internet cooperates here. Um, but so we have that the opposition between between Leo and between Aquarius. So right now the action is happening in Aquarius, the sign of the people. Leo, opposite that, is the sign of the individual. So right now it's really about the collective, we, us, as opposed to I, me. Okay, so this is the house of the collective, the house of the people, the house that has to do with humanity. So again, let's take it back to structuring the dream. Right. So we have Neptune and we have Saturn in Aries structuring the dream. And then we also have this eclipse in the house of the people where the languaging is we, us, ours. Okay. So let's think of how you can layer that onto the, kind of onto the kaleidoscope that we're kind of setting up here. And then because you can't make this stuff up, as I like to say, um, we also have tomorrow on the 17th, or again, if you're watching it today on the 17th, if you're watching this on Tuesday, we also have the Chinese New Year, the Chinese Lunar New Year arriving, and that's the arrival of the Yang fire horse. So let's start with the horse. Kind of active animal, right? Very Martian in its speed and its power, right? We use the word horsepower for a reason, right? So it's a Mars kind of energy. It's an active year that we're coming upon. Yang, the more active, male, hot aspect of the energy as compared to the yin, right? So we've got the horsepower. We have the heat from the yang, and we also have the fire element adding to the heat of the yang, right? So we're coming into an active year, guys, okay? Um, and the moment is active as well with this eclipse and with Saturn aligning with Neptune. So, well, people have been like so, people, in fact, this afternoon, someone that I work with has asked me, what are we going to do with this? What do we just, like, I'm nervous. What are we going to do about this? And all I kept thinking is what an incredible, and I've been thinking this before she asked me this, what an incredible time to be on the planet, to have access to this kind of energy at a time where we really need some intelligent change on the planet. And we get to be active in all of that through awareness, through our awareness of our charts, through our understanding of this time and what it means astrologically. And if you're Enneagram aware, which if you're watching this, you probably are, through your Enneagram, how much more awareness, consciousness, compassion you can bring to this intense, exciting time in history. So I'm going to repeat the question. How are you going to structure the new dream in your world, in the world? How are you going to structure the dream? I beg of you to do one thing. There's no real place for fear in it. And we think of Pluto as being the planet of fear. Um, and I don't think I'm a silver lining woman, by the way, but I like to find the potential where I can. So I look at Pluto as being about transformation. But when we're not consciously aware of what's happening around us, conscious transformation can When transformation is happening, it can scare the hell out of us. And that's the other side. That's the shadow of Pluto. So we're not going to really do much with Pluto today, but I do want to mention that Pluto's hanging out for the next 16 years or so in the sign of the people in Aquarius. So we are being commanded to transform, and we can do that fearfully or with open and loving hearts and open minds. So I just wanted to mention the Pluto piece of this. So how are you going to structure the new dream? So it's such a big topic that I refuse to label it within the nine Enneagram types because we could probably have an entire class on what that could get to look like. And I mean like an interactive class. So the best way to do that here, without it, requiring a whole lot of time on my part, is drop it in the comments. What is your Enneagram type? What can your Enneagram type? What do you intend your Enneagram type to bring to this moment in history in order for you to help restructure or structure the new dream? So I just wrote down some ideas. They are not in any way, shape, or form the only answer to this question. They're definitely not that. But there's some starting points. Okay. And I'm just going to go in numerical order. If you're an Enneagram 1, the first thing that came to me is get out your pencils. Because you guys are great when it comes to having the sharpened pencils. You're the organizers. Um, you're the ones that you see the plan. You create the plan. You're great project developers. And I just see sharpened pencils around that. In how are we going to sharpen the pencils and use those sharpened pencils as we structure this new dream? Within your little Enneagram world, my Enneagram ones, how are you going to use those pencils? How are you going to structure the new dream? So that's for my ones. For the Enneagram 2, you guys are so good at seeing to the needs of others. Put that one on a shelf for a little bit. How are you going to structure the new dream by taking care of your needs so you can then take care of the needs of others? Let's not jump into other right now. Let's, even though we're talking about the eclipse happening in Aquarius and that is the sign of others, I want you to think about serving others by first honoring yourself because you're going to come in with so much more power and you're going to be able to ride that Aries wave in a way that you don't normally ride it. Okay. So I want you to think about how you can structure this new dream by taking care of yourself first. Okay. My Enneagram threes. The one thing I want you to not do is worry about what you're going to do. And instead, I want you to think about what you can be in this new dream. Particularly your heart, because you guys are heart types, right? Particularly your heart. How is your heart going to factor into this? Not, not the thing that you do, not the song and dance that you put on stage for everybody, not those, amazing things that you just pull out of your hat at the last minute that no other type does quite like you do. Um, what special thing are you going to bring to this dream? You, yourself, your being, your essence. My Enneagram fours. Um, you're the guys and gals that connect deeply, feel deeply, love deeply. This can be a time where you guys could feel real overwhelmed. Um, so I encourage you to not swim in the sea of overwhelm so much as just to be in awe, because you guys are also great at doing that. Just being in awe of this amazing time. Neptune is pretty much your friend, Enneagram 4. You guys know the energetic pulse of Neptune. Um, don't lose yourself in it, but allow yourselves to hold it. Don't drown in it. Hold it. Hold the awe. Um, and I think in so doing, I would say you're also offering, you guys would know this better than I would, but I would say you're also offering prayer in that moment, in holding this in awe, um, just holding it in your heart. Um, Yeah, the four energy right now can be something because you guys are great dreamers. Okay. Using Saturn though is where this gets to be a little different for you because that's where you get to structure it, right? So our fours, you're the artists. Artists, structure is not usually the first thing we think of with artists. So it's that allowing space around the dream and the ability to just hold it, watch it, observe it, adore it, and find the beauty in the structuring of the dream as well. My fives, I think kind of similar to what I just said to the fours, go into the quiet space. Um, it's easy for you guys, first of all, because that's just what we fives do. Um, go into the liminal space, though. Um, it's not just withdrawing because, we think of the five as being parsimonious and not wanting to give of their energy, especially. Um, so I don't want you to withdraw in that way, but I want you to use the quiet. I want you to use the stillness um, to be clear and to not allow. I think out of all the types, the fives right now can be potentially the most anxious about this energetic shift because it's a lot. It's a lot happening. I think fives and sixes probably are most vulnerable to the energy right now. So allow yourselves to sit with it, not the whole day, but maybe start your day, you know, 10, 15 minutes or so, or just quiet silence and breathing, stillness. Do that through the day as you may need to, because it's going to be a lot this week. It's just going to be a lot. And again, try to, in the observing, see neither good nor bad, just see what is. In the five, the observer, right? You guys can do that. You guys can do that well. So, and then remember to come back out as you help structure the dream. Take that quiet time to see the dream, to feel the dream, to internalize the dream. Um, the structure part will come easy for you. I think the dreaming part will too if you give yourself the quiet. So, and then Enneagram 6, you can continue to ride that wave, taking some time out for yourself. You are a head type. You're gonna, the five, sixes, and sevens are gonna be prone to overthink some things potentially in the next few days. But for the six, I want you to ask the age-old question of the six, how's your faith doing? Because Neptune also has a whole lot to do with faith. Okay. And we need that six energy because you are the people that when you're clear and balanced, you connect to the journey of faith better than any of the other nine types. So I want you to think about your faith practice. What cultivates your faith practice? How do you deepen that faith? How do you deal with the uncertainty? Because as this dream gets restructured, um, that can feel like uncertain times. I mean, these are uncertain times, right? So work with that if you're a six. Ask yourself where is my faith in this? Where and how do I develop my faith to structure the dream? My sevens. So Saturn, again, planet of reality and limitations and boundaries, are the words that make you break into a cold sweat. Um, that's a joke. Um, how can you work them? How can you work the discomfort of limitations, of the planet of limitations, the planet that's asking you to build a whole new structure? It's going to feel uncomfortable because you just want to run beyond the structures all the time, right? You want to run toward the dream, to the fun, but we have to structure this dream. So, how can you uniquely structure or put limitations or reality, Saturn's reality, around this dream, um, and allow yourself to, I'm going to say almost like the five, just observe it, just be with it, be in stillness with it. Maybe you'll even be able to experience some of what I said to the four of just being in awe of this tremendous change. And I think, you sevens can tell me a little more about that, but I don't think change is necessarily your favorite word unless it looks like fun. And this may not look like fun because of Saturn's presence in it. What will look like fun for you is the fact that it's happening in Aries with that go, 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 that Martian energy. You're going to like that. So think about, well, there's the go, go, go in this, but there's the tempering of Saturn as well. So it's the two things that get to play off of each other as you build this new dream. Okay. My eights, same old story for you guys too. The vulnerability of building a new dream, being willing to be vulnerable enough to see what the dream may be. In the not knowing of what the dream is, there's potential for vulnerability in that. The person today who asked me about or told me that she was anxious about, this transit coming up, um, with the eclipse especially, this person's an eight. So it's an undefined change. It's a change, great change of the times. And again, there's going to be another episode on this week that has to do with another transit that I've not seen anybody talking about, but I've been watching it for a while, and I think it factors directly into this. So if you're an eight and you're plugged into this and you're on the sensitive side, but of course, eights don't like to do sensitivity openly. Um, find the vulnerability in that. Find the vulnerability in the dream. Um, what will be easier for you through the eclipse, because that is happening in Aquarius. It's the sign again of the people, of the we, the us, the our. O-U-R, not H-O-U-R. Um, of the collective. Um, There'll be some social justice, potentially could be some social justice themes in this dream for you. So that's where you can pull a thread that makes you feel a little more empowered so you can use that Aries energy. You're also like the seven. You're going to like the wave that Aries can pull you into with this. So even though you may not really like the Neptunian piece of it because it's potentially undefined for you, um, you can do it through the active energy of Aries, of the sign of Aries. And then last but not least, of course, the nine. And I'm going to ask you in this time, so Neptune is your happy place, or one of them. And you're the peacemaker, right? Neptune is has a lot to do with peace. It's water element. So has everything to do with the sea and the mystery of the sea as well, and dissolving boundaries. And we know the nine likes to merge, right? So it's a very Neptunian Enneagram type. So the Neptunian piece is going to feel really good, like the idea of, a new dream, even structuring the new dream. Like why will this be easier for the nine? You're a body type, structure, right? So structuring the dream, Neptune and Saturn, even though it seems like a challenging transit, particularly that it's in Aries, I think the nines can really do something with this. Um, the thing to remember is not get lost in the Neptunian fog, because that's where sloth can kick in, and that's where you can do that self-forgetting thing where it just, you just want so much harmony that you'll merge with anyone else's dream and to hell with yours because your dream doesn't matter as much as their dream, because if you make them have their dream, everything will be so much easier and so much better, right? Well, wrong. That's where the nines go wrong all the time. They worry about every seeing, kind of like the twos, seeing to everyone else's needs, but you're going to merge with their needs. That's what the nine does a little differently, and they lose themselves, and this state of self-forgetting comes in. So your homework right now is to not do the self-forgetting thing. Help build the dream, go into the Neptunian space, but do not forget your piece in this equation, because we need you suited up for the game as much as we need anybody. So those are my off-the-cuff suggestions. I would really love to hear what you guys are thinking in terms of that I've put this idea out to you of how you can structure the new dream, how we can use both the Aries energy and the Aquarius energy with the eclipse as well. How do you see your unique Enneagram type merging with this energy to help structure a new dream? So I look forward to hearing those answers. I am grateful that you're here, not just here at the channel, but that you're here on the planet at this incredible time in history. I hope that you're taking good care of yourself so that you can make the best contribution um, to this shift, because we need you. We need people that are conscious and aware, showing up to do the work. So thanks for being here. Again, check out the website, therootedmystic.com. Remember to check out my Enneagram class. It's called Smart But Stuck, or my webinar, the free webinar on boundaries in the Enneagram. Remember to sign up for an inquiry call if you want to talk to me about how we might be able to work together, or if you just want to schedule an appointment to do some other work with me, you can just feel free to go ahead and do that as well. So I also have a link on the website if you want to contribute to the channel and support my work. That would be greatly appreciated. But what I appreciate just as much is your participation here. So please, again, remember to subscribe, comment, like, share. Also, check me out. My other links are in the show notes. I have a Substack, also on Instagram, TikTok, pretty much all the places. So again, thanks for being here. I wish you the best on this transit. Look for the next episode that's going to be coming up probably a day after this one. And I will see you soon. All right. Thanks again. Bye-bye.